What is going on, guys? So welcome back to the channel. So recently what I've been doing is I've been focusing on trying to refine my edge a little bit more. And one of the things that I've never tested is making trades break even. So in today's video, I'm going to be back testing gold, and we're going to be seeing if a break even system makes me more or less profit than the current system that I have. I've always had a sort of set and forget approach to the markets, and I've never really experimented with making the trades break even. So this will be an interesting experiment, and hopefully you guys can learn a thing or two about the strategy which I use as well through watching this video. So if any of that sounds interesting to you guys, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and let's get straight into the backtesting. Alright guys, so before we get into the backtesting itself, I'm just going to quickly do a brief overview of the trading strategy and plan which I'm currently using. So if you have seen any of my previous videos, this is the exact same trading plan as always, since I always use the same strategy and have been for over 3 years now. And just to prove to you that this plan actually works in the live market as well, let me just quickly show you my FX book track record, which I took a picture of recently. So as you can see, this is my name on it. So it's my track record. It says real, and it's an IC Markets account. And as you can see, this was last year's results, and we made a total of 34% on a decent sized account as well. You know, this isn't just risking £10 or so per trade. So that's just quick proof that this strategy actually does perform in the live market as well, just so you guys know that I'm not doing all of this in hindsight like a lot of traders do. But anyway, the trading plan that we're going to be using is as follows. So the first step I always do is just identify market structure and direction on the 4 hour and the daily, and then I also break it down into the 1 hour and lower time frames to see some of the more substructures and internal structures within the overall macro trend. The next step is just to identify a point of interest, which is an area where I am looking to buy or sell from, which hasn't yet been confirmed. So I have two types. The first one is simply an imbalance area of supply or demand with some liquidity above or below that level, and following the order flow. So if price is bullish on the higher time frame, we're looking for a retracement into the current leg of the trend to then capitalize on some further buys. Second type is just simply when we have a higher time frame liquidity area. For example, it could be a 4 hour higher low where there's an imbalance below. Price sweeps that higher low into the imbalance, and then we look for buys, confirmation seen afterwards. And this brings us to stage 3, which is the lower time frame entry model, which I currently use. All this is very simple. After we see the sweep of liquidity, or after we see price come into our point of interest to the left, we wait for a breaker structure, and the time frame where we see the breaker structure depends on the time frame on which we identified the point of interest. So if the point of interest is on the 4 hour, I only use the 15-minute for the entry, and I don't go any lower. If the point of interest is on any time frame below the 4 hour, I'll use the 5-minute instead, or the 15-minute, depending on how clean it is. But the point is I won't go lower than the 5-minute. So breaker structure, we need to see an imbalanced area of supply or demand, as we have just up here in this example. And we also need to see liquidity taken out, which is the case just here, as we can see. Another example, breaker structure just here, liquidity taken out into the area of demand, and then we look to buy. Targets, this is what we're going to be experimented with today. So usually I'm targeting minimum risk to reward of a 1 to 3, but I have a discretionary take profit system where I'm targeting previous areas of liquidity. So it requires a little bit more thought. It's not purely mechanical. 1% risk per trade, and then I also have a few little processes down here which I stick to. So in this video, instead of doing this target system, what we're going to be doing instead is targeting a set 1 to 3 risk to reward, but when price breaks the lower time frame high or low, we will make the trade break even, and let it run to break even or take profit. So yeah, let's get straight into the backtesting. I've already started this session, so if we look at the analytics so far, and as I said before, you can skip this part if you just want to go ahead to the backtesting. But currently we've done from August 2021, we have a 64% win rate, and total gain is around 38%, running up until May 2022. So what's that? Just less than a year, around 9 months. And as you can see, we use the 1 to 3 risk to reward system. So yeah, let's get straight into the backtesting. We will resume this session. Zoom out a little bit so it's easier to see. So where I left off, price was bearish on the daily time frame, and I was looking to sell price down towards this wick, which is an area of liquidity that I can potentially see price targeting. So that's really all I would do on the daily. But if we go over to the 4 hour, we can see some of the actual structure. So currently I would identify this is the most recent 4 hour break of structure. After price pulled back, mitigated this sort of area. So one thing I always do with backtesting as well is, and in the live market as well, I will look left and just see if there's anywhere where price could react from, which could cause this trend to potentially reverse. Right now, I'm not too worried about that happening. There doesn't seem to be anything. So yeah. So if we look at the 1 hour as well, we can see a little bit more refined that price has reacted from this supply and has broken this low, forming another break of structure. So for us now, we're looking between this high and this low for the sells. Let's see if a valid area forms. Okay, so at the moment price is just consolidating, but one area that I can see is this sort of area of supply, which caused this break of structure. Okay, so now I would get rid of that. I don't see price pulling back to there anymore. Okay, so what we could see now, we could see some potential sells from this area. So I like this area because we have this liquidity just below and price is overall still bearish. One other area would be if price can sweep this high, but let's see how it reacts within this zone now that that liquidity has been taken. Okay, so price didn't respect that level, but we have just swept this liquidity to the left. So sells would still be valid if we can get a reaction here. Let's go back to the 4 hour as well. So again as well, this price hasn't really swept any areas of liquidity to the left, so I think it's unlikely you see a reversal here. Also just going to mark back on this area of supply, and let's watch how price reacts from here. Okay, so price came higher. it is now trading within that supply. So let's see if we can get the sells. Okay, so this looks nice. We've had mitigation of supply, liquidity taken to the left, and price has just broken 15-minute structure, as we can see just here. So all I would do next would be I would identify this area of supply, and then I would set a limit on that area. Stops a little bit above the high, and 1 to 3 risk to reward target. There we go. And the reason I'm using this mechanical take profit rule is just so I can compare the results with and without the break-even strategy. It just makes it a bit more consistent. So let's see if this can pull back and tag us in. Doesn't look like it's pulling back. Cool, let's have a look if there's any other areas where we could get in instead. So potentially you could see price come into this area instead. So when price does something like this as well, I won't, you just wouldn't anticipate price to pull back all the way into this zone if it is going to continue bearish. So you would look for some new areas to get in, and I would look here with another confirmation. In this case, I wouldn't just set a limit on this zone. Let's see what price does here then. Cool, so price did sell down to that low, but there wasn't really an entry, as you can see. It just sort of went full liquidity seeking mode and just went straight to the low, which is fine as well. I'll probably sell here, but there's no valid entry for me. We still, so we still have this area here as well. But I wouldn't just set a limit on it now. I would wait for another reaction. So yeah, let's see what happens here. Maybe we get the sells, maybe we don't. All right, so price just looks like it wants to continue up. So this would be sort of the last area I would consider sells, but it just swept the supply. It broke structure here as well, and we have this area of supply. So I'm going to set a limit here, maybe just above that wick. And again, 1 to 3 target. And let's see if this tags us in. There we go. So the break-even rule, like I mentioned, is once price breaks lower time frame structure, we make it break even and then just hold. Okay, so out at break even. And there we go. So stop loss would have been hit. I'm just going to also update my little record as well. So one thing I'm recording alongside the backtesting is so extra profit if there was no break-even rule. In this case, we would have had a -1 if the break-even rule was not there. So let's keep going and see. Let's get rid of this to make it a bit clearer. So yeah, I'm still thinking price is bearish on the daily. It hasn't reacted from anything that would, cause it to completely reverse. If you look on the weekly as well, you've still got all of this down here and all of these lows as well. All right, so right now we've had sweep of this high, and this also looks like a news candle. And one thing I've noticed as well is that when you get news candles like this, where you have a big wick on the bottom, price will normally seek some previous liquidity like it has done here, and then you'll get sells to the low. So let's have a look if we get an entry for that. Cool, so we had these highs swept. Price broke this low. And I'm gonna set a limit just here. Stops above the high. 1 to 3 target. Okay, so that missed us. I would invalidate that now because we've had another break of structure. Could look to enter if price pulls back into this area. Let's see if it does. Or yeah, I may just want to sell straight to the low. So let's get rid of this. Okay, so what we've had now, this was the hourly trend low that has been taken out. So price is now higher time frame bearish again. What would I look for now? Probably a retest into one of these areas up here. Just based on all of this momentum, if you have a look, price was still bearish on the daily. All of these previous highs were taken out. Price broke the low. And after a big move like this, you wouldn't expect it to continue bullish. So let's see if it can come up to one of these levels. Now, if you were trading counter trend, you could probably look for buys up as well within this area. I'd rather wait for the sells though instead. But yeah, there you go. That was a nice buy. Let's see how it reacts here then for the sells. Cool, so there you go. Sweep of the high. Breakdown of price. And then we look for a retracement into supply. In this case, we have two areas. We have this one and we have this one. What I would do here would be just set a limit on this and then have stops just above the high. 1 to 3 target again. That got tagged in. This is where we make it break even. Cool, so there we go. In the live market, I would target this low instead as well, based on my current take profit rule. But for now, if we go back to this, I'm still looking to sell and target this low, so we could look for a pullback to get back in. So the two levels I would look at, we have where price currently is, or you could see this high taken out. Right, so there you go. This high was taken. Probably we'll get some sells now. It's also like sort of back within this supply. All sellers have been taken out. So let's have a look on the lower time frame. The low hasn't been broken yet, so no entries. Cool, so we have the low taken out, high was swept, and we have this sort of area above all of this liquidity. So this would be my entry, stops just a bit above there, and then I'm looking to target this low, but we're targeting a 1 to 3, so we'll set that at a 1 to 3. And let's have a look. Cool, this is still valid because the low hasn't been broken. All right then, that was a clear loss. Let's see what it does here. All right, so that's annoying. Price literally just took us out and then went to the take profit. So we've had another break of this low. Next area for sells would be this supply. Let's see. So the structure would be this one. There you go, but no entry. Cool, so the low hasn't been taken out yet. Next level would be this one. And the reason why is because this is the liquidity leading into this imbalance above. You could also see this one as well if price goes straight through the first one. So these are the two POIs. Let's see what happens. Okay, so liquidity was swept. This structure got broken. I would look to sell from here. With confirmation, this is the last bit of liquidity leading into the imbalance. Or you could also see this one here as well. But I'm not expecting price to come this high before it sweeps the low. So let's have a look what happens here. Let's see if it can pull back. So this became valid because it broke this low. Stops just above there. And we'll target a 1 to 3 again. So this is invalid for me now. Cool. So price broke structure again. Next area for sells is this area of supply, which took that liquidity to the left. I'm also going to mark on this low with a line, just so I know where price is. Looking for this previous liquidity to get taken as well. Cool. So the low was taken, but price is still bearish. So sells within this area are still valid if price presents an entry. Let's have a look. Cool, so I'm going to sell from this supply. Got a slightly better entry because I skipped it forward too quickly. 1 to 3 target once again. There we go. Break even if this low goes. There we go, break even. Cool, live market I would target this low as well. Cool, and there we have it. Low was taken. We have now another breaker structure. Just following the trend down. Very simple price action stuff. We also had a break of this main low as well. So we can now zoom back out, focus on the macro trend, and we can get rid of all of this, which was this internal trend within this leg of the main trend, if that makes sense. Cool, and I'm just going to quickly zoom back out, just so we know where we're at. And next liquidity target is this low. And that's the main daily trend low as well. As you can see, between where price is now and this low, there's not really anything to cause it to reverse. So yeah, I'm going to continue to look for some sells at the moment. Where can we see price come into? So on the 1 hour, we have this supply in here. Cool. The liquidity target was hit, but also price is still bearish, so I'm still looking for sells, not looking for buys unless price flips bullish. What I'm going to do though, I'm going to get rid of these markings, and now the main breaker structure is this low. Again, making sure we're aware that these breaks of structure correspond to the daily trend. What we were trading here was simply this internal trend inside the overall leg of the trend, which was this one. So yeah, this doesn't look like a reversal to me unless we can start breaking some structure. Let's have a look how price reacts to our supply. Cool. There's the 15-minute breaker structure and the very clear area of supply just up here. Gonna set a limit on there. Stops just above the high, and a 1 to 3 target just here. If this was the live market, I would, oh, we don't want to do that. Cancel this one. I was meant to set a limit instead. So as I was saying, in the live market, I would either target this low or this one. This one down here would be a lovely trade, around a 7% trade. But even this would be 3.4%. But for the sake of the back testing, we're just doing 1 to 3. Cool, so price reacted very nicely from there. Break even point is this low. So not making break even just yet. Now we can make break even. I also put the break even as well a little bit below, just so that you don't end up with a loss if it does hit break even due to the spreads. And there we go. That was a nice trade. And the main low was taken out as well. Cool, so price is still very bearish. We're looking for more sells. Let's also go back to the daily just so we can see if price is coming towards some areas. Not really. So I would be a little bit cautious if price sweeps this low. We also have this one as well. So these are the two areas where you could see price reverse on the lower time frames at least. But overall, we are looking for price to come and sweep these lows on the weekly. You have the demand below as well. So yeah, instead of trying to predicting it too much, we'll just go with the flow for the moment. Let's play price a little bit more. Okay, so that low was taken, but it very clearly closed with a lot of momentum below it. Okay, so what can we see now? Price is broken structure. next POI would be this liquidity, which leads into the imbalance above. Actually, we could also see this taken out. That would be a valid sell point as well. Very messy summer price action there. Okay, so that liquidity was taken. At the moment, though, there's no structure for it to break, so I see price going higher. Play this on the 15. Alright, so it looks like it just wants to sell from there. There was no valid entry there, though. As I said, there was no structure for price to break. It just simply went. And now we've had another break of the low. I would have a look next at this supply for the sells. We could also see this area swept for the sells. That would be another point of interest. And after that, the next one would be this, if price comes up that far. But for now, we'll just see how it reacts within our supply zone. Going back to the daily as well, again, you know, price probably will fill this wick completely. You wouldn't expect it just to suddenly reverse from where it is. So yeah, let's have a look here. We go left a little bit as well. So it did also sweep this low, which is a major daily low. But yeah, overall still bearish, so I'm not looking to buy. So yeah, this was not valid for me. It didn't really react from anything. So we've had another break of structure just here. I still see price sweeping this high, probably into the supply above. So let's have a look. Right, so we have this clear area of liquidity where price is most likely going to target. Cool. I'm looking for buys up to it as well. So this area here would be ideal once this low is swept. So let's have a look if that happens. Or maybe not. Maybe price just wants to go without us. Cool. So if we look here as well, what we can see is this hourly downtrend, sorry, has now ended. Price very clearly broke past that lower high. So what you will very likely see price come and do now is take out some previous sellers. Overall on the daily, we are still bearish, but you know, I think it is likely you will see price sweep this and potentially this as well. So I'm just going to draw a line on this as the liquidity target. So we've also seen break of the high, price pulled back into the demand on the 1 hour. 15-minute broke structure just here, and you've kind of got this low. So if this low gets swept and we see a reaction, I'll look for buys. Or maybe price wants to come lower, that's fine. Still looking for buys though, not really interested in sells now. Okay, so this is interesting. So the area of demand was now swept. As you can see, it took the low. This would be the optimal area to buy from, in my opinion. Let's have a look. Nothing just yet. Maybe here, but I'd want to see another reaction. Yeah, all right, so I'm going to buy here. Put stops just below the wick of that demand and target a 1 to 3. Market execution on this one. So break even point is this high. Doesn't look too good though at the moment. Yeah, there we go. Stop loss on that one. Was a valid setup though, so it's fine. Okay, so the demand was swept again. All right, so I like this. We've had demand was swept, breaker structure, very clear. A bit of a big stop loss on this one, but I'm going to set a limit here. 1 to 3 target. I'm expecting price to come to these highs anyway. So we will set that. There we go, price is tagged in. And the lower time frame break-even point would be this high. Okay, stop loss again on that one. I'm still seeing buys though. Price just keeps sweeping all of these lows. So all of this has gone now. And there we go. Looks like price has now gone without us and taken the high. We just got in a little bit too early there, I think. Which is annoying, but oh well. And there we go. Now the liquidity level was taken. Just going to mark this on as well. So 4 hour is still bullish. You could see some sales here, or you could see price head to this next level up here. Daily is still very much bearish. Looking for this low to get taken out. Cool. So looking buys up to this liquidity now. Sells from this one are clearly invalidated because price has, you know, closed with all of this momentum. Next buy level would be this region. So let's have a look within here. Cool. So this would be valid. I'm going to enter this. Again, a 1 to 3 target, which aligns very nicely with that liquidity. Break-even point is this high. Okay, that's fine. Let's just have a look at the 4 hour a minute. Right, so next buy level for me would be this. So this is like the whole 4 hour supply. It was kind of a bit stupid to buy here because no 4 hour liquidity was taken out. Hence the loss. Could go from there as well since it swept this. Actually, I'm gonna look for a buy here. So we've had a reaction from this demand. This low was taken, 15-minute broke structure, and we left this area of demand, which I'm going to set a limit on. Even though we've had 3 losses in a row, still going to keep executing and target a 1 to 3. Unless this high gets taken out first. Cool. So this one looks very nice. We have all of these highs up here. I'm going to get a second entry as well, just there. So in the live market, I wouldn't do this, but this is just for the sake of testing. Bit of a tighter entry. 1 to 3 risk to reward. Okay, so this one is invalidated now. The first one I'm going to make break even because it broke the high. There we go. Nice, there we go. So take profit was hit. And interestingly as well, we just came into daily supply. So this was the bottom of that supply. Liquidity was taken out. Yeah, so I'm gonna look for some sales here now. This was the daily supply, like I just said as well. Liquidity was taken to the left. So let's have a look what happens. Cool, so structure was taken out. As you can see, price has very clearly flipped back bearish from that line. And I would look to sell from this supply. This would be more of a swing trade because the confirmation is on the 1 hour. Stops above the high and we'll get a 1 to 3 risk to reward. Maybe it'll miss us. There we go, so it's tagged in. Cool, so that was a stop loss as well. So I think very likely price will now come to this area. So this is the sort of refined daily supply, which I would still consider for the sells. Could also look for some buys up to it, maybe. If something presents, let's have a look. I think it's just going to go from here, but I don't see anything, so. Right, so refined area was tapped. See if it breaks structure. You can see as well, this high was very clearly swept by this huge candle. Hasn't yet broken structure though. All right, so there we go. Now it has broken structure. Just there. And I would look to enter from this supply if price can pull back. Like this. Stops just there. I don't want to have it all the way above this because if this gets taken out, then I'm not interested in sales anymore. 1 to 3 risk reward once again. Tagged in, and this right here down this low would be the break even point. There we go, making break even now. Nice. So price did end up sweeping that high, but after that we got the sells. Now we're going to follow this hourly trend back towards the daily lows. So we've had this breaker structure. I'm going to get rid of this as well. So if we zoom back out for a second, we can see price reacted from this refined area, which was within the daily supply, swept the high, broke structure. Now the 4 hour has flipped back bearish. On the daily, we are still bearish as well. So we could see price head back at least to this daily supply, but probably to the low as well. As you can see as well, overall daily structure is still bearish. So let's see if we can get one more trade and then I'm going to end this and do a part 2. So next sell level is this supply, sorry, this area of liquidity. That's the only thing I see at the moment. Okay, so I don't see it coming back there anymore. Next area would be the supply just here. Let's have a look. Okay, so I don't see it coming back there anymore. So when price is moving like this, this isn't really ideal because you can't get an entry. Okay, so the 4 hour looks to be pulling back. Next sell level would be the 4 hour supply just here. So let's see if price can pull all the way back into there. If this liquidity is taken as well, I would consider selling from there. Okay, so let's look what happens here. Price is within that 4 hour supply. Okay, so I'm going to set a limit here. Stops above the high. 1 to 3 target. Okay, so it doesn't look like it's pulling back. Cool, so good entry area, good analysis, but no entry for me. Next level would be this supply. Let's have a look. Hourly time frame is still bearish. There we go. Pull back into supply. So it broke this 5 minute low. We have all of these highs up here. So if they get taken out, we can consider some sells. I'm just gonna wait for that. All right, so again, good analysis, no valid entry because price didn't create any structure. Still following this bearish trend. Next entry area is this supply. Or maybe not if price doesn't pull back. Still looking for it to target this low all the way down here. So at the moment, I'm looking for this high to go again. There we go. Okay, so I like this. We've had a sweep of these two highs into the supply. And now I'm looking for sells. Nothing for me yet because I don't like how we have all of those highs up there. Okay, so now let's look for some sells. I like the fact that the supply was swept as well. There we go. This is where we look to get in. This would be the supply I would enter from. Sweep of the high. Low taken out. Also notice now that this happened after the supply was swept, so everybody has been taken out. I'm going to enter here. Stops above the high, and we will target a 1 to 3. Like that. I also like the fact that we have a little bit of liquidity below it as well. There we go, tagged in. So the break-even point would be this low. Let's have a look. Oh, there we go. So no need to make break-even. In the live market, I would be targeting these lows. That was probably some news, I think. So I'm going to look to jump back in the sells as well if this liquidity gets swept. So one of the setups that I like is after you see a big news candle like this, look for price to come up, sweep the last bit of liquidity, leading in to the news imbalance. And then this very often gives you a nice liquidity-based sell or buy. So let's have a look if that happens. Sometimes price just doesn't pull back. So this needs to happen before that low gets taken as well. Yeah, so otherwise I would invalidate it. But yeah, this video has already been quite long, so I'm going to conclude it here. This is going to be part 1, and then next week we will continue doing the same thing with part 2. So if you guys managed to enjoy this video and you made it this far, make sure to drop a like below the video. Make sure to subscribe for more backtesting content and more trading content in general. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in next Friday's video.